Fulton, who's still here. No, just kidding. No, I thought this would be a great time to bring up this topic because we have such a diverse group of agents now in the brokerage from all age ranges. We've got brand new and we've got experienced. Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
40 years for me. So
40 years. So we want to just talk not so much about like retirement so that you guys have to like exit the business, but we're going to talk about different strategies that, because I know there's a lot of agents, I know Celine, like people want to travel and like you're getting to a point where you've been doing the business for so long and you kind of want to start living life a little bit, but this business can kind of trap you very quickly and give you a little bit of a fear that you're not going to have income the second you leave the country or anything like that. So there is different strategies. We're third generation brokers, which is very, very difficult, I think, to get in any industry. It's a very high fail rate to make it to a third generation. And that's all because of a lot of succession planning that we've been doing behind the scenes that you guys aren't even aware of. Just to give you guys a small history of like Carly Page and I, we wanted to come into the business before Claire was probably ready for us to come in. And we met with a coach. His name's Wayne. We met with him for a whole year before Dad even allowed us into the business. We weren't even licensed. We were in the middle of doing our schooling. And so this was all planned. Like we've been planning succession planning with the family very openly as a family for many years before we were even allowed. And we still see that coach today to help us with the transitions. And I think there's been a lot of stuff that a lot of agents are never taught. I don't think you guys ever taught how to retire, right? So I thought it would be a good topic to kind of share some knowledge while some of you guys are thinking about it. But there's also newer, younger agents that also want to grow their business. And we've got some experienced agents that are hogging all the clients. And there's some opportunities for both the newer agents and the more senior agents. That where you can actually like help each other out. So that's kind of why we wanted to bring all of you guys together, not just people that are retiring today, but those that are thinking about it and how we can kind of help each other out. Did you want to have any intro before we get started?
no, just that I've been around for a long time. I've seen lots of people come to the business. I've seen lots of different business models and different way that agents do business. And I've seen lots of agents retire, and sometimes it's disappointing when they retire when I don't see any further input. And it's just like they hang up. So I'm kind of hoping you can give everybody some ideas on how their career should be figured out in their business and maybe how to pass that business on.
Yeah. So there's 5 different options we're going to talk about. They are all completely different. None of them are like fully retired. Some of them are fully retired and some of them are just like stepping back. I want to talk a little bit about finances too, because I know it sounds shocking. Do you guys know how much the average agent retires, like how much they have in their bank account when they retire?
Not counting their house.
Not including their home? Do you guys know what number that is?
100,000.
No, it's really sad. It's $10,000. That is very scary. And so after working for all these years, because we are commission based and I can see how easy it is to get caught up with that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But I want to make sure you guys are retiring hopefully with more than $10,000 in your bank accounts. So like you guys can survive and actually like retire. So I know Claire's not fully retired, but you could be if you wanted to. But he's bored. He likes us. I don't even think you need to own a lot of property. We just need to learn how to be smarter with money, probably.
No,
Is that what you mean?
a lot of people do own property, and that's why
Yes.
Claire said not including real estate.
Not
I think a
including
lot of
real
people
estate.
include the real estate as part of their retirement.
And that can be scary when we don't know what the market's going to do when we retire at this age. But right now, what would you say? Probably most people are retiring with $1 million maybe when they sell their house. But even half the time, you don't even see them get to enjoy that money, which is even more sad. So I've got a little bit.
Let me just put a goal out here for you. Okay, let's say on hold jar, but let's say you'd like to have, I don't know, let's say $50,000 of passive income without having to do anything. So, like what would you need in the bank to generate $50,000 a year cash flow? Not from a real estate, but just cash flow, right?
Without having to go to work.
$1 million, 5% return, $50,000, right? So $50,000 a year is not enough for you to retire. Would it be $100,000? Therefore, $2 million. So by the time you're 65, years old. You want to have $2 million invested someplace that gives you cash flow for $100,000, and there's your retirement.
Easy.
But you don't think about that when you're 60 years old.
You don't even think about it at my age either, though. So I think it's important for all of our ages to be thinking about that.
Whatever it is, that goal, whatever that goal might be, that should be your target. You should always say, okay, by the time I'm this X age, I want to have this much money so I can have this much passive income.
Yeah.
That's just one thought, right?
Perfect. So I'm gonna pop up. Gosh.
I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
It's jealous. Something on it. Hopefully, you don't get jealous. Hopefully, you get envious. But I know somebody, for instance, that last year. Who's in the stock market last year? I know we're talking about real estate, but who understands the stock market? What it did last year? Nobody pays any attention, really? Okay, so last year it averaged about 20% increase. Some holdings increased 42%. So I'm aware of an individual who had $2 million in the bank cash. Last year made $1.4 million without selling a single house.
That's nice.
Right? It's called passive income.
Yeah.
Right? It's called but the point is that this person had been doing it for 50 years. I'm telling you, he didn't do it overnight, but it was a goal that he had, and it happened, and now that's his retirement, right? So there we go. It could be investment properties,
Hey,
right?
Dad, you're getting ahead of my
Okay.
presentation. That's option 5.
Option 5, we're gonna roll it back.
We're gonna you're gonna talk.
But the point is, think about a goal setting with no pension. What is your plan? I think that's the idea.
Exactly.
So out of the options, you can pick one.
That'll be option 5.
Okay, go.
And we get to roll with it. Okay, so I just wanted to pull up some facts too, which is kind of scary. And this doesn't include real estate agents. Some of it does, but nearly 29% of retirees have no retirement savings, which is kind of scary. The median savings is $126,000. That's for the public, not realtors. I said $10,000 for realtors. Only 17% of people have $1 million or more saved. And realtors, we obviously know that we lack employer-sponsored plans. So we don't have pension, so we don't have that luxury, and that's why it's really important that we start planning this type of stuff so that you guys aren't thinking about this too late, hopefully. So the other point I wanted to make today is like, we're not saying that you necessarily need to retire fully from real estate. Like you don't have to just like exit. Claire's still here because he loves real estate so much. But I want to help you guys also figure out how to retire from doing everything yourself, like showings and open houses. And you do get to a point in your career where you want to make this passive income, and there is a way to do it through real estate by not basically servicing all the clients. So your way of passive income could be through stocks, but it could also still be through running a real estate business, just you're not doing everything. So we're going to give you guys those options. Claire was diving in the investment.
I went to the end.
You went to my last one.
You're gonna tell the story.
We're gonna tell
That's what
Claire's
you
telling
always
the
say.
story. Why most of you guys struggle to retire is because most agents build this as a job, and we're not treating this like a business. And what I mean by that is, as a job, when you work, you get paid, right? And that's like normal people's. But as soon as you stop, there's no income. And that's what we want to make sure is not happening, is that you guys are able to stop but still make a passive income. Otherwise, you guys are just going to be exhausted. So we don't want you to be 70 years old running around doing showings and doing all those things that, I don't know, are you guys still doing all those things right now? Showings and all of that? Would you like to not be doing those things and make money still? Right? Okay. So I think this is where we get caught, is that we're taught that we have to go to work and in order to get paid, but there is an option for you guys to still get paid, maybe not as much, but you guys can stay home on weekends and be traveling while still making money, but you have to treat it like a business. So there's options. You don't just get to, it doesn't just happen. No one really taught us an exit strategy or succession planning. I will say that is something Claire was very good at, even though I keep saying you're not retired, but you've done a really good job at making sure that we even understand. I think Carly and I talk about our biggest fear in life is retiring broke. I think that's both of our fears, to be honest. So we make sure every single day that we're paying attention, even though we're in our 30s, 40s. I'm almost hitting 40s very soon. But it's something that even my age should be thinking about as well. And I don't think people are teaching the younger generation it as much. Did you guys learn about this stuff in your generation?
Things have changed. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like I had life insurance when I was 19 years old. You guys, you know.
I got it at 35.
So it's just different generations.
There's no
right?
financial literacy in schools right now.
Well,
It's a
no.
problem.
They added it last.
Just last year.
They added in
like
good.
2025, you know, like
Yeah. So there's a gap.
There's things like RSPs and life insurance, and there's all these strategies that you use later on in life. When you're a young kid, you don't understand, but later on in life, you figure it out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's too late, right?
Yeah. Another challenge that agents have is that the client relationships live with you and not in a system. So your knowledge typically is all in your brain, and anytime you guys think about follow-ups, it's based off memory, and all your contacts are in your phone, and it's all there inside of your heads, but you don't have an actual system for it. And the clients are loyal to you and not a team. So we get stuck in the whole, my clients only want to use me and they want to use me, and we thought like that too. Once we started to create a system and a way that we run our business, we're passing clients off to other agents that are going to help us out as well, and the clients aren't as mad as you think they would be. So a lot of us get stuck thinking that the clients only want to work with us. They just want to be served. They just want a proper system. They want to buy a house, they want to sell a house, as long as it's being done properly, right? So I know a lot of us get stuck in that. Commission lifestyles, no stability. So what I've noticed, especially in 2021, 2022, is agents, as they make more money, all of a sudden their lifestyles increase and they're not making money because they're spending all of the money that they had. And then when we end up in a down market like this, now all of a sudden they're scrambling for money because they spent it all buying Porsches and properties and all these things, and all their money, as they're making more money, we're not spending it on savings in our retirement. We're buying cars and things that aren't going to support us in our retirement years. And you've probably seen it quite often. I saw it just in the last 5 years. And it's really sad to see when agents were doing really well, having a great lifestyle, and then in this down market, now they're like, oh my God, I need money because they spent it all. So I think that's one of the challenges that agents have as well. And they assume that they're going to slow down later and they'll have money. So retirement's going to look a little different for everybody. So some of us may be thinking about slowing down. Some of us want to step away completely from the business. So some of us just want to exit, retire, and never see real estate again. Some of us aren't ready to ever slow down or ever completely get out, but they want to slow down. So we have to think about what that income reduction looks like versus income replacement, which is what Claire's talking about, having some sort of passive income. So your plan should actually match what goals that you guys have. So here are the 5 options. So if you guys want to take notes, I didn't give you guys any paper or anything, but you guys are going to have 5 different options of, and maybe there's more. Claire might be able to pop up some, but one would be to sell your book of business, which we're going to dive into. One would be to build a team that runs without you, which we have in our brokerage already. Like, people do this all the time. Like Frank Leo, you may see. These are teams that are big teams, and there's a team leader. And that team leader's not actually out there servicing the clients, but maybe they're creating an environment to help their agents find clients, or they've got such a good system and past client database that they're able to pass it off to other agents to help run their business, and they can kind of step back a little bit. The other option would be a passive income through referrals. Another option would be to stay in the business and transition your clients properly when you're ready to exit. So you're not selling a book of business, but you're transitioning. And then the one that Claire is going to dive into is the leveraging investments and wealth building. So let's talk about business one. We talk about this a lot. This would be to sell your book of business. So this is where you guys hear us talk about your database all the time, right? I talk about your database, building a contact list, and everyone, for some reason, will not do this. And the reason we're always talking about this is because I'm trying to teach you guys how to retire. And you guys probably have no idea that this is an option, and why building your database is important is because eventually this is going to be a sellable asset. And if you don't have a sellable asset, you don't have a business. So this is where you have your clients' names, numbers, phone numbers, notes on when you last talked to them. This is where another agent in the brokerage or somewhere, like a buyer or a team, is going to pay you for your book of business, for that 500 contact list, whatever your contact list is. This is if you want to step out of the business completely. You're like, I'm done with real estate, but I have a whole book of clients that are ready to go. Here you go. And you put a price point on how much you want to be paid for this book of business. You could either structure it as a payout over time. Maybe it's like as clients are doing business, or someone might just pay you an upfront lump sum money. Here's the database. Don't care if it works out or not. So it depends on how you guys want to do it. You can transition the clients professionally, or you can just say, here's the list, good luck, enjoy. This will only work if you have a CRM. If your clients are in your phone, this does not work. You're not going to pass your phone over and be like, here, Carly,
Good.
$50,000 right here, like whatever. Maybe you could, but like that's not it. So when we're talking about having a CRM, there's a reason why we're doing this, because you don't want to, I think Claire, you've even said, nothing is more sad than seeing an agent that wants to retire at 65 and then you're like, great, where's your book of business? Where's your clients? Let's help you transition. And they're like, I never wrote down a client's contact information in my life. And now you're sitting there working at 80 years old because you didn't do that. So this is one option. Do you want to add to this one? Have you seen this happen actually? Yeah, let's ask the question. You guys can ask questions in this.
People are here. So I have my experience. Do you guys know any agents that have retired and just let their business go?
And
right?
didn't transition it, they just exited, right?
For those at home, I mean, we're seeing this, like there's no business plan, right? Why? It's too bad, right? All you have to do is, and it doesn't have to be some CRM. You say CRM, it could be an Excel sheet with names and addresses and phone numbers and email addresses. Here's my list of all my clients, right?
How many of them are as old as the agent? So they, half of that at least, like.
Okay, so the question was some of the
clients are,
clients. Okay, so
what's wrong with that?
I've had agents come to me saying,
We don't know that. I'm selling to a 94-year-old right now.
I've had
He's like, you don't know, right?
that agents come to me that have been in the business for a long time and their clients are older as well and they have kids. But the kids don't want to deal with you because you're old.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say here is why don't you hook up with somebody that's young and introduce that person into that family so that we can try to get those kids.
Do you guys get that a lot where
Yeah.
your friends' kids don't want to work with you? Is that common? No?
My friends' kids want to work with me.
Right? And like their parents have a realtor. And in fact, a lot of the younger agents are now getting the kids' parents' business too because of the young energy. I don't know what it is. But this is why it's important to transition to maybe an agent that is in their 30s and 40s, right? Because now you're not losing that business. Yeah.
I hear this quite often. Database is so important, right? And CRM is so important. What are the three best ways we say to add to the database? Because I was talking to an agent from the West End, like talking to an agent.
Yeah.
She says she goes to any party or any where she goes to a party, she will ask for the phone number.
Yep. That's how you add to a database. Yeah. Anytime you meet somebody new, anytime you host an open house, anytime you sell a house, anytime you buy a house, anytime somebody works with you or you meet someone, that is your database. That's how you add to it.
We feel that they can smell that or the relationship or transaction with you.
Aren't we?
Aren't we?
I'm building relationships to build a business, aren't we? We're salespeople, right?
For those at home, the question was that how do I follow up somebody without them thinking that I'm trying to get their business? Is that your
We
question?
want their business.
And then you want to be known as their real estate professional. You don't want to be known as their best friend. Right?
Mhm.
You want to show them that you're there to sell houses, buy houses, negotiate for them, get the best price. You're not there to be their friend.
Yeah. And I don't think a database should be full of like online leads. I don't think that's a good database. That's a separate contact list in itself. But these are like friends, family, colleagues, who you do business with, buyers, sellers, tenants, open houses, people that you've actually met. That's your database. The best ones are past clients, I would say. So if any past client, that is a very sellable business. They've already worked with you and they trust you, and hopefully you're maintaining the relationship over time. So the best way for this, I would say, is if you're selling your book of business, you either get pay per head that's on the list maybe, or you can structure the payout that as people sell, then you get a percentage of it. There's different ways, but this is more of a strategy that you want to exit the business altogether. You don't want to build the relationships. You're done. You just want to step out, but you have a good contact list that any agent could just pick up and they take over and they start calling the clients and say, hey, I'm replacing Carly, kind of thing. Option one. Would anybody be able to do this today? If you were ready? Any of you guys? Do you have any books of business to sell on this side of the room?
Option.
Yeah. So we don't want to be like we want to have something that's sellable. So this may not be an option for everybody. That's just option one.
There are any real-time example that you can share? Don't share the name that people have done it.
It happens a lot in the brokerage world, I would say. I don't think enough sales agents are organized enough to be able
I
to
think
do
a
it. That's
question though for Claire, have you
Have
ever
you
seen it
seen it?
happen in real life ever?
Which,
this.
Someone selling their book of business.
yes, yes.
That's all, yeah, you wanna.
I've seen people sell a business and I've seen people walk away from the business, both,
Do you know how much they paid for it?
yes.
How much?
He's not asking how much. He didn't say how much.
I'm asking how much. I know there's an agent out there that wants to know how much.
I know somebody that paid $15,000 upfront for the database.
Okay.
And they paid them 15% referral for 3 years.
On the deals from
3
them.
years.
Perfect.
Good question. How many contacts does that include?
Probably 3,000. Yeah.
That's
3,000.
not bad.
15,000 for that's a lot. That's great. That's not a lot of money, but that's a lot. Well, if they sell 15%.
You guys know who I'm talking about too, right? You guys, yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Was in Ender. And he was a phone caller, and he phone call. He was a Mike Ferry coach even at one time, and he had his database there, and he said, "Here's my database. Who wants to buy it? I'm moving to Vancouver. I'm out of here."
And he pieced out.
Yeah, so that wasn't retirement. He just new career.
Yeah, he's new career. Same idea, but we're talking about selling business, right?
Yeah.
He turned from here to Vancouver.
Yeah, completely gone.
It's more possible when you know somebody in the office or whatever, in your community. If you have worked with somebody for so long, he knows that this guy can really take care of.
Okay, so when he sold it to was a Turkish guy from born in Moncton, New Brunswick, and he sold it to a white girl, who grew up in Scarborough. So it was no cultural nothing.
And they don't care. I think in this one, it's an unemotional transition. This is just money it's like when we sold like a hair salon. Like they're going to ask you, do the clients come with the hair salon, or is it just the things like the hair dryers and all that? So when you guys are selling businesses, when people are buying the business, they're hoping that the clients are also coming along with it. So that's what you're buying, the clients.
There's another guy in Oakville who was a top producer within our system. He decided he wanted to retire, so we brought in a partner that worked together, and they just changed his name. Oh,
it's option number 3.
Let's go to the next option then. Wait. Here, we'll go to option 3.
No, keep with your plan.
Don't ask me questions.
Okay, we'll pop on. We are gonna get okay, so this is just option 1. This may not be the most realistic for everybody. Let's go to option 2. This option is when you build a team without you. So you may like be really, really successful, and then you might get to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with the clients, but I want to be in the business and I want to build a good team and I want to train other agents to work with the clients that we produce. So this is where you kind of step in more of an ownership role versus an operator role. So we do have teams in the brokerage right now that are doing this. I would say some of the team leaders are still heavy in the business, but probably their goal is to step completely away from it. I see it on many teams actually where it'll be like, I want to say Frank Leo again. He's probably like the team leader, but I bet he's not out there servicing the clients, but you're still going to see his name. And then he has people under him that are servicing for him, and he's not out there. So he's basically hiring agents to service his database. It's still all of these clients are all his. He keeps ownership of them. His name is on every single listing, every single buyer. These are his clients, but he's hiring agents to serve the database, and he's earning from the production that he doesn't have to. So people like this have very strong systems to be able to create a freedom, but they're still in the business. They're not quite retired, but they're in it, and they're just having it. So your business should be basically producing even when you're on vacation. We have teams probably that we're acting like, sometimes the teams I think start with them not working, and then I think it shifts. I think sometimes the owner can go in and out. When the market goes down, they may step back into production. I have heard that a lot. And then when the market picks back up, they kind of step out. So they're kind of in and out of the clientele. So this is an option for a lot of you guys too. You don't like this one. This one's boring.
For the teams?
Yeah.
I had an idea when I was driving this morning for teams.
Okay.
Let's say you're Joe Blow. I don't know if it makes sense or not. I'm just going to talk about it.
Just talking it through.
No, you're Joe Blow Real Estate. And you have a team. Let's say you're Frank Leo Real Estate, right? And then Frank Leo wants to retire, so somebody else is going to take his place, and he's going to be Frank Leo, right?
Damn.
But I see some brokers now, or agents teams. They're not calling themselves the Frank Leo team. They're calling themselves the
Rainbow
The
team.
rainbow team.
There's no name
The,
associated with
they
it.
call themselves the spring team, the whatever,
Wolf pack.
the wolf pack, whatever it is. So now that guy can sell that company without his name.
Which is smart. I wonder if like, did they,
Yeah,
that must have
makes
started
sense.
somewhere with the name.
So if I owned Sky Real Estate or Sky Real Estate team, and I decide I want to retire, and I give her, she's still Sky Real Estate team. It's like it's not like Claire Fulton's disappeared. So it's just a strategy.
I've been seeing that a lot in our generation too, where there's been teams that did start with their name and then they realized there was kind of a little bit of a thing. They're like, well, where's Dave? Like it's the Dave team. Where's Dave? And so they then switch it to like the bold team or something like that. So then they change it so that it's more of a generic name. So now that they're not expecting Dave to show up, it's like anyone that's under the bold team kind of
But
thing,
is it
right?
Legal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's business name.
Yep.
Yeah, but when you're like advertising under that, is it like, because they say you have to have. the
Oh, you still have to
name?
put your,
You still have to put like your name probably, but the team can have.
it could be
whatever.
the Sky team, and it could be, you know, who the sales rep.
So that would be the smarter way to run a team.
don't
If
know,
you,
I
if
don't- I
you
don't
want to,
think
if you think you're going to step out and you don't want your name associated with it and you want people to trust other people, then maybe that's but maybe you start off with your name first to build that brand. It depends on who you are and what your
Yeah, it's
reputation
just a strategy. Just throwing out a strategy.
Because you got the Dan Plowman team, for example, too, out in Durham.
But you got Percy Fulton too.
And
So
then you got
that's-
Percy Fulton, yeah.
So I'm talking on two sides of my face here, but
It's true.
but it's something to think about, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's option 2. Option 3, this is passive income through referrals. So this may be for an agent that wants to stay connected to the clients and you still want to build the relationships, but you're going to refer them to a trusted agent. So you're going to stay connected, you're not physically out there doing the showings, and you may be different. So you may be like, hey, you're going to have someone do your showings. I'm going to handle the offers and negotiations for you, but you're not going to see me face to face, but we'll be on the phone all the time. That could keep you from having to be on the road all of the time. So that's an option. And then you can either depends on how much of the role. So you could either have an agent that's doing all your showings and you pay them 10%, and then you get paid 90% and you're doing basically the relationship building and the negotiations, or you could swap it where you're going to pay the other agent 90%, you're going to take 10%, but you're not going to be doing anything. You could do 25%, it could be 50-50, it could be whatever. There is no set standard for this, but you're basically having another agent handle things and you're still kind of dabbling in there. You're just not doing the active physical work and you're just paying someone. So you're staying in the industry without that day-to-day demands. And this is really good for those for like gradual retirement or agents that just aren't, your clients still want you connected kind of thing. I think this is a good one, I think.
I think that's the one.
This is my favorite one, to be honest. Yep.
I use this option when I moved from Illinois to Toronto.
Yep.
And I see quite a few referrals for the first 3 years.
Yep. Exactly. So this is really, really good for both, like all agents, because a newer agent can help service, and it doesn't have to be the same agent. It could be any, and you guys are in a brokerage of 400 agents. So you could be like, hey, I'm looking for a female that speaks Cantonese. Do we have one? And you're like, yes. So like you can actually kind of help each other in the brokerage going based off what personality an agent would work for certain clients, because that might be a worry too. If you're connected with like one agent and you're like, oh, I don't think they'll bond with that client. And then all of a sudden you're doing all the showing. So this is kind of more, you don't have a team, you're not running a system, you're not doing team meetings or anything, but you get clients and you want to service them, but in a very loose team kind of environment.
So did you give that so an agent here referred some client who came from a different cities, or he gave us, I don't know, the question to you would be, did you give him a list of clients or did you just pass on the messages when people phoned you?
I just, I didn't want all my clients to know that I have moved.
Yes.
So I still had my number working there.
Yeah.
So every time somebody called, I said, listen, I am out of country now, but I have an associate who can help you the same way I did. And that way I had, few referrals.
All right, so those at home, so what some people will do, they'll just take referrals when people phone them, past clients will phone them. Then they'll take that client, they'll pass it on to an agent that they've got, and they'll take a referral fee, and that agent hopefully will deal with them, and away it goes, right?
That's my option 4.
But that's not the one, that's not really what I want to do. I don't think.
So I have 2 transitions. So that one's very similar where you choose a specific agent to take over the relationships. This one is you have many different agents. It's not, you don't have a select one. It's just you may have one that does it often, but it might be like you're picking people based off the client. So it's very much more loose. This one we've seen it even the last couple of years where you select one person to take over your clients and you communicate that transition clearly, but you're stepping back. So option 3, you're still connected to the client and you're might be doing the negotiations, and like the day-to-day texting, maybe you're involved in the emails and you're in there. Option 4 is when you're stepping back completely. You're like, here's Sanic, he's your new agent. He's going to be handling you from here on out, blah, 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 blah. And then you step back completely and then Sanic takes over and you're getting like a 25% referral fee. So there's different options. I'd say if you're not quite ready to step out of the business, but you want to stay connected to the clients, that passive income through referrals is good. But you're still involved, so you're still working. But if you want nothing to do with the transaction, but you want to get paid and you want to transition them just to one agent, then you've got this plan. This one's hard, I think.
This is
Because we're
the
trusted
this is the easy way to do it. Because you're just passing clients that phone you, you pass on to somebody else.
And you're not involved.
You haven't given that other agent your database, so nobody's working these clients. You're just waiting for people to call and you're passing on the call.
Mhm.
We don't want to do that. Okay. It's okay to do it. It's okay. I'm not saying you don't want to do it, but if you think about it, we had one where a fellow been in business for a long time, and he was same idea. He wanted to give a referral. He picked an agent. The agent was going to referral. And he had the all these the database and cards, so recipe cards. But all these people were his personal friends, so they didn't want to give the recipe cards to this person. He said, anybody that comes to me, I'm going to pass on to you, but he's not going to be proactive. So as you said, those guys are older guys, so they all just kind of went away, right? So nothing happened with it because nobody phoned him. He didn't have anything to pass on. What I prefer to see him do is to give that list to that person, let that person put them into their marketing plan and start being proactive with it, not just waiting.
And maybe also, like, I think it's really important to do a really good communication to your list, to be like, hey, I'm stepping back, or like maybe not retiring, because that might not be the right word to use with clients, but something just saying I've got help or something, and this person's going to be helping me. But you have to kind of clearly communicate it so they don't think you're completely leaving the business.
But I think in this case, what happened, just so you know, in this case, the agent, and maybe your case too, the agent didn't want the clients to know that they were retiring or moving or not active, so they didn't tell them.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a transaction. It was just it was almost like I'm gonna wait for somebody to call them.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So this one could be passive.
The agent has a call previous clients, they want to have a transaction. So what they do is that he calls me, he says, okay, I'm gonna put my, you're gonna share this one 50-50.
Yeah.
And you handle the whole thing.
Sure.
And I'm not gonna do, but he comes along and says, yeah, you're gonna do this.
Yeah, that's great.
He steps back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, but he's there physically to introduce you, and then you go.
Exactly. So
So
this one.
that's a great plan.
So I've got the man shaking hands because he's introducing to the younger agent kind of thing. But yeah, so this one's more like, hey, you're doing an introduction and then you're out. Passive, or the option 3 is you're still involved and you're running the business. You're building the relationships. You're doing the stay in touch platforms. You're still running it. Yeah.
Question. I'm looking at options 3 and 4.
Yeah.
With option 3, you've got to retain your license,
Yes.
but 4, it may not have to.
That might be fair.
Oh, you can't be a commission without a license.
I think you have to.
You can't receive commission.
Oh, yes. Sorry. You can't receive any referral without your license. So you do have to maintain the license.
So then, in my opinion, if I'm retaining my license, I would rather just call my clients, but refer them
Yeah.
to do the work.
But you're retired.
We're retired.
So
Yeah.
So here's what I don't want you to do. I want everybody to pay attention to it. We don't want you just to do that. I don't want you to say, people phone me, I'm going to pass it to you and give me 50%. I want you to take your whole database, give it to that person, let them person work the database. This is what we're trying to figure out.
That's what she was kind of saying. She's still gonna make the calls.
So then yours is option
No,
3.
but so what I prefer you to do is take your list. We're just spitballing here right now. Take your list, give it to that individual. People are still going to call you, but the individual's going to work it. They're going to, and it's both names on it, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it something?
But option 3 might be for you because you want to hold on tight to those relationships and still do it. You just don't want to service them. But you like the relationship building, and then you might be like, hey, Chad, I just did a listing appointment, maybe. I don't want, like, maybe you're just going on a listing appointment, doing the presentation, and then you're passing it off to an agent. Maybe you're doing the buyer consultation and you're like, hey, Chad's gonna do the showings. I'm gonna be here. And you're like, you're there, but you're not there. The one Claire's talking about, if you really want to retire, is step back completely and then let Chad take over all your clients.
But as a client, I prefer to see you in the transaction.
So this is why it's really important for you guys to not have that mindset. You have to have a very systems mindset, and this is how I work with buyers and this is how I work with sellers. And Carly's going to do the exact same thing I'm going to do, and she's going to do the exact systems. But most agents don't have a system, and they rely on their personality and themselves instead of relying on a step-by-step process.
And we think our clients think that, but they don't.
They don't. They
They
just
don't,
want to sell and
because-
buy a house.
Because they trust the original person, and if they have the right trust, they know that that extends down to the new person. And we've met with situations been like that where they say, because this person referred you, I now trust you.
Yes.
That's because of the trust they've built with that original
Yeah.
client. And then to your point, this could be a transition. Maybe it starts off as I'm still kind of in it with the goal of eventually stepping out. Maybe that's how you transition instead of going from one
Yeah.
to the other.
I know it's hard. We had the same thing where we thought our clients only wanted us. We learned very quickly that they don't. They want us part of it, but they're okay having someone do the showings and do all that. And they're okay with it. And they didn't leave us. And in fact, they still send referrals after it. So as long as the agent you're passing off runs business, you have to find an agent that will also run the business like you. If you can't go with, if you're a high worker, you can't pass it off to a lazy agent. If you respond within 10 minutes, you cannot pass it off to an agent that responds in 12 hours. Like, you have to have another agent that responds just as quickly as you do. They have the same professionalism. They dress like you. They are like you. You have to have someone that has the same mindset. So you do have to be careful on who you're passing it off to as well. You have to try to find someone similar that has the same work ethic. Because I have had that where we'll be like, okay, this agent's going to take over, and they took 5 hours to respond to a text. And I'm like, no, my clients expect fast responses. Like, you're out. Like, so you have to be very, very picky too. You're not just going to pass it to anybody, right?
There's also another example where people shift themselves from terms of option 43.
Yeah.
So I'll share my experience, because given a client, and then client says, okay, so are you coming to pick me up? It's like, that we know what we discussed. We book a showing, and then they mentioned how 5 years before the agent who was serving them, because that time it was a transition,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they were just taking them everywhere to show about.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that was
you
their
gotta be in touch
system.
A little bit
Yeah.
with your clients to see how they've been served
Sure.
by, even if you're referring to another agent, like,
Yeah.
you should still, in the background, know what the other person did
Yeah.
for your client.
Hopefully you're picking agents that you don't have to worry about. You're like, yep, Celine's got it. I'm out. Like you want to pick someone that's going to handle it the way you would.
That comes back to your point about
Systems.
systems and saying, hey, my old system used to be I picked them up and I dropped them off. The new system is now this, but you have to educate the client on what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are some fun ones.
Still talking about transitions?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your presentation is. So there's other transitions to do out there. You don't have to do it all at once. I'm also aware real life situations where somebody is given a second person 15%, let's say 15% of the commission for the first year. And what that second person does, you've got the lead person and the fallout, the second person would do the FinTrack, would do DigiSign, would do measuring the house, would be arranging the photographs and doing all the stuff that they don't
We
want to do.
used to do that for us.
Right? And then the lead agent would negotiate, right? And then
Yeah.
then the second year would be a 50-50. Now they're going 50-50 on everything else
Yeah.
and there else. And then the third year it goes 15% or
That's a
30%
switch.
to the lead person. And then the fourth year they're finished. So this is like a 3-year plan.
Yeah. So you're promoting the person that you're helping transition, but
You know,
slower.
here's the thing I wrote down here, just be careful. If you believe that 80% of your business is personal relationships, then somehow you got to get that second person into that personal relationship.
Yeah.
Not personal relationship, but business relationship. Somehow, so that you got to pick a personality that's similar to yours, or because if 80% of your business is people that you already know, then and you want this person to take it over, they better be similar to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and I think that's a true thing, right?
Oh, so I'm like personality and work ethic.
And this is why I think most agents don't do planning, because they believe that every relationship is personal and they want to deal with me and nobody else,
which is false.
which could be true, but it's not doesn't help you in your plan. You plan on retiring, so you have to get over that.
Doesn't mean that you're the only person
Yeah.
capable of
You can
this.
you can still negotiate, you can still be involved, you can still comment, but this person would help you do all the other stuff.
And there's little things you guys can start with, like Claire say, like maybe you're transitioning, like you're not picking up the lock boxes anymore. You're not dropping off the lock boxes. Unfortunately, Michael, when he first came into the business, we used to pay Michael like $20 to go pick up a lock box. And then eventually he becomes experienced. And he's like, screw you guys, right? Like, so like you can transition to a brand new agent for little things like lock boxes, client gifts. Maybe they're showing up for the buyer inspection. Maybe they're doing your open houses, and they're doing like little things that you just don't want to do. So even like Carly and I, a couple of years ago, we wrote a list of things I don't want to do. And then then Michael would go do them with us, right? So, and then Michael, yeah, then we transitioned to other new agents, but you can transition off like little tasks first to open up time, right? So like maybe you don't want to work on weekends anymore. So you're not doing your open houses, or you're not doing showings on the weekends, but you're passing it off to an agent that's just going to go do showings for you. And it might just start off very simple before you start to say, okay, you're going on a listing presentation or you're going to write the offer. So just start slow, and then you'll start to learn if that agent you like, if they can do those little things with you, then maybe they'll start to follow you and do the bigger things. But you don't have to go straight into like, here's the client. So if you're in a phase where you're ready, there is little things you guys, there's lots of brand new agents. Got Stacey Ann here. I'm sure she would love to do like stuff. We've got tons of new agents joining us all the time that will do little tasks for money, obviously, that you guys don't want to do, right? So my whole goal is to transition and open some time up for you guys. Showings is a big one.
Mhm.
It is really just opening a door. Your clients pick the house, do they not? Do you guys ever, have you ever sold a house to a client and said, buy this today? Or do the clients buy it? The clients choose it and then you help them get it. No?
It happens sometimes.
Like you can help them make the decision to buy it when you're like, yeah, I actually think this is the right home. But for the most part, they're gonna walk in and be like, yeah, actually this house does fit. And then you confirm that they're buying it. You can have an agent do that. An agent can help you with that. You may be better at the negotiations and allow someone to go open the door for them. That's why a lot of these team leaders don't work with buyers because they know that at first you think that's the skill that you have to have, and then eventually being a listing agent is what opens up those doors. Okay, this one's your final one.
Right.
Leveraging investments and wealth. Did you want to go back to any of those options before we head to this one?
Yeah, go back. I want to go back to your own business, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. So if you don't want to retire, that's fine. I mean, if you do want to retire, then maybe think about it. And it's not an overnight thing. You got to think about it, right? I mean, it's got to be an overall. But think what we're saying here. So if you want to retire, the guys I know that retired, we go to them and say, okay, you're going to retire. Why don't you give us your business and we'll give it to somebody else and you get a referral fee, and they don't have a database. Right. So we can't say that enough. Like just a database, just an Excel sheet, just anything, right? So then you've got something to sell. That's what you're trying to do. So if you can do that, but if you did that before you retired, you'd make a ton more money.
Tons more money.
So maybe you wouldn't want to retire. Right?
But you'll make tons more money by doing less work
So
as well.
So how many times have Caitlin talked about it? We were just talking about downstairs. How many times have we said, get your database, call and contact your people, get your routine, so on and so forth. For instance, one of our agents that did the transition, they have a routine when they have a listing. In the listing, you have to have the feature sheet, you have to have the just sold cards, you have to have the open house cards, you have to have the just listed cards, open house cards, just sold cards, follow up phone call. There's a list of things they do. So when they transfer their business to somebody else, this is what you do. There's no question. I'm looking back here. You guys have a system like every listing you guys have. There's a checklist, and that checklist goes 1 to 21, and everything gets done. So now it's very easy for him to say, here's my clients, and here's what you do.
That's why I'm always teaching you guys systems for success. You guys notice how I train you guys step by step by step. It's literally for this reason. So you guys can take it and hand it off and build a business systematically.
And it has another purpose. You get so busy, you want to have an assistant. Maybe you don't want a partner. You want an assistant. You want somebody else just to help you inside the office. Same thing. Here's my list of things to do, and it's all done for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, investments.
Okay, this one's Interesting. So obviously you guys are in real estate. You can buy real estate and have investment properties, rental properties. How many of you guys have rental properties? A couple of you guys? Now I think there's different ways I know some people just don't want to. I think you did it pretty good. If you have kids going to university and you know you're going to have to pay rent for your kid to go to school, buying a condo or buying a rental property might be a good start if you're not in the investment world. I do think that would be that's a good way, because you're going to be spending that money anyways on rent. You might as well either collect rent from other students or have it for your own kid and then sell it when they're out.
So
keep it.
we're not talking about your clients, we're talking about you guys.
You buying rentals.
So how many people have come to me over the last year, say, Nelson, how many people come and say, should we buy pre-construction?
Hell no.
And I always know what my answer was. I'm not sure what yours was. My answer was, if the property could rent, if you can put enough down, the property could rent and have a break-even cash flow, it's a good investment. If it's a negative cash flow, it's a bad investment run.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And it doesn't matter pre-construction. Well, it's going to appreciate in value next year or 2 years or 5. Who cares? Yeah. You want today, it's got to be cash flow. I'm looking at Jesse here. Jesse, everybody anything that has negative cash flow?
Yeah. So it is risky. That's why I mentioned your kids instead of to complete strangers kind of renting out places.
But I think that if you had an investment property that had break-even cash flow or positive, then it doesn't matter if the prices drop 20% or 30% or went up 20. It doesn't matter, because it's cash flow you're worried about. It's cash flow. It's paying the cash flow. So one of the things you got to keep in your head: what is the cash flow on these things? Not just speculation.
Yeah.
What?
We saw way too many bad investments last year, I think.
I mean, it's easy for me to say today, because a lot of people are sitting here today thinking, crap, I should have done that. But anyway, so that's always been my logic, that if you can't rent that thing for a break-even cash flow, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. But that's why I think it's good for like real life situations like that you're going to use.
So we're talking about investments here. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're talking about speculation and gambling and invest, then fine, go ahead and buy 100 of them. If that's what you think is going to happen, we don't know, but we're just talking about long-term.
So like that one, I don't know what I meant by business investments.
Okay. Does anybody here just go? Does anybody know about CPP? What's the maximum CPP that you can get? Any guesses here? 1,500, right? What's the maximum OAS if you're not making more than $72,000 a year? You have to get OAS. What's that? $800?
Like
And then if you don't make more than $27,000, you get another supplement, something or other. I forget the GIS or something. I forget what the number there is, but anyway. So even if you're retired, you're going to have $1,500 plus. You're going to have $2,300 pension income if you're contributing to your pension plan since you're a kid. If you immigrated to Canada halfway through and you only contributed for 10, 20 years, your CPP might be $500 or something, $300. So it depends on what you do. So
are they contributing to that?
They are, yeah. Everybody has to. It's by law.
Just for to know.
So that's your nut. So you got to think, okay, now when I retire, I've got this money here. What else do I need? And I think most people here average about $10,000 a month expenses. Anybody, is that sort of would that be a fair thing to say?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's after tax dollars. So maybe it's not 10,000.
Need more.
Or no, I think it lasts, right? But anyway, so with that in mind, you got to think about how you're going to supplement that when you do want to retire. Anybody that's over 71 years old, I think it is, yeah. And anybody that's collecting CPP pension, you should not be paying CPP pension. And you have to, even though you might be less than 65 or 70, you have to be collecting it. You gotta make a declaration that you don't want to contribute to CPP if you're collecting it, but you have to make a physical declaration. If you don't, it costs you about $5,000 a year extra. You're costing yourself about $5,000 by not canceling the pension payments if you're still contributing.
How do you cancel it?
So there's a form on CRA. You got to talk to your accountant and say, hey, I'm collecting CPP. I no longer want to contribute CPP. Have it canceled.
Will most accountants let you know that?
Nope.
No? Really?
No.
So you really got to look out for yourself on that one.
So
write that down, everybody. That's not 71.
So when you start collecting,
put that in your Google Calendar reminders.
Is that as of age of 70 after? Or?
Well, it depends. Some people take it at 60 years old. Some people take it at 65.
Yeah,
So
whenever you
when you start taking it, don't contribute if you're taking it.
Interesting.
I think where you started to go with the RSPs is when you turn 71, you have to start withdrawing. from the
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
put RSPs here.
RSP
So
just converts to a RIF, and after when you're after you're 71 or in your 72nd year or something, you have to start collecting, and it starts at 5%. And by the time you're 70, 92 years old, your pension would have been depleted. No, sorry, RSP would be zero.
what happens if you do not contribute to your RSP?
Nothing.
You don't have money to retire.
Hopefully, you got money somewhere else.
Do like for me, I'm like Claire taught us about RSPs very young.
Hopefully, you set that money and saved it somewhere else. So.
You taught us about RSPs young. I didn't really pay attention to it obviously till I became self-employed, but you guys know that you guys can contribute a certain amount to your RSPs to reduce your income, right? Some people don't take advantage of that. Claire's always taught us to do that, but do you guys do that? Okay.
Some people say it's a bad investment. They're mutual funds. It's not very good. Well, you know what? It's just a force.
Mutual.
Don't think about it. If you just then you'll thank yourself for doing it.
Yeah.
TFSA. Excellent vehicle. So TFSA is after-tax dollars. You invest that money. Any money that it makes is tax-free. Can't get any better than that.
That's pretty awesome. But it doesn't reduce your income.
No, it's after-tax
So you
dollars.
start with RSPs and then whatever you have left over, TFSA.
Well, it depends on your strategy too, because anything that you earn in that, you don't pay taxes on. So I
Yeah.
think it depends on your
It
overall
depends, right?
strategy and portfolio.
Yeah.
Another strategy, if you've got good cash flow, if you can get ahead of the game, is to pay yourself a salary. Don't pay yourself a commission. So if you get a $20,000 commission, $10,000 commission, you don't put it in the bank and spend it. You put it in a savings account, and then you have a separate account. And a separate account, you draw down your $10,000 a month from that account, and then all the commissions goes to this account.
Yeah.
You follow me there?
That's what I.
Yeah.
Right. So your commission goes into one bank account, and then the second bank account or your discipline, you take out whatever it is that you need, your nut that you need. So just because you got a $20,000 check, you don't go out there and spend it. Oh, I got $20,000. I'm gonna go buy a new couch or something, right? No. You put it in this bank and you draw yourself and you pay your new couch from your income salary, not from this. The other thing you do, this is, I don't know what the number is, but every financial guy has always said pay yourself first. Anybody know what pay yourself first means? Like pay yourself savings, pay yourself 4%, 5%, 10%, pay yourself, put it in savings account. Somebody forget you ever got it.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretend you're on a 50-50 split with the office and take that money and put it somewhere else, or you never got it. And eventually when you come time to get it, you'll be glad you did that.
I think that's the problem with realtors. We like to
Well, no, because
and then spend it.
and then for what we do, a lot of agents, we'll hold back your HST, we'll hold back FIT, your federal income tax, and then we'll pay the federal income tax. We'll give you a monthly or quarterly check for your HST contra. Why do we do that? Because you haven't got the money in your bank account. Your wife or your spouse doesn't see it.
No one's spending
You
it.
pay your taxes with it, right? If it goes to your bank, and maybe you or maybe your spouse sees that you got $1,000 in the bank. Well, I guess I'll buy that. But no, that's not, the $1,000 isn't yours. Half of that belongs to your taxes or something. Or,
Yeah. I hope we have some new agents online too, because I've learned a lot of new agents learn about taxes that first year or two, and they're like, oh, I actually had to pay. Like when you're self-employed, you don't really know because you're used to having a job. But I've heard lots of horror stories from agents that are now in the business for 8 years, but they always talk about that first year how they learned about taxes very on the hard way. So
it doesn't have to be a big number. It could be 4%.
yeah.
No, but I remember, I learned the hard way.
You learned the hard way.
And I remember at one of the meetings at the HR's office, Claire said, put aside 20% for the government, 20% for the government, they come first.
Yeah.
They come first. And I learned from that.
Yeah.
Because when tax year comes, it's
You're like, whoa,
where the hell am I getting this money?
yeah,
Yeah, put aside that.
don't touch it.
So government first and then yourself.
Government first, then yourself.
Government first, then yourself.
Yeah.
But the idea is to try not to live on the 100% of the money you get. Try to live on 70% of the money you get, 80% of the money
Yeah.
you get. That's the idea. And put the money, invest the rest, right? And then, as I said at the very beginning there, that 20%, hopefully when you're 65 years old, that 20% turns into $1 million, $2 million. Now you got your retirement.
And if you have a good year, like 2021, 2022, don't assume that it's going to be like that every year, right? So I think a lot of agents got caught up in that and started spending it on vacations and cars and investment properties and everything. And now they're in 2026, like, oh crap, I have no money. So when the market goes up, I think you should save even more so that when the market goes down, you've got a cushion, right? I don't think, hopefully people did that, but I think we know a lot didn't. Okay, is that all you want for investments? Any other investments? What's your, I'm gonna ask you a dad question. What's your opinion on stocks versus real estate?
Maybe a blend,
Have all of it? Okay.
all of the above. Yeah. Anybody else that disagree? I mean, some people think it's all, some people I know it's all real estate. I know that.
Mhm.
Some
Yep.
people it's all stocks, some people it's mixed.
I like the stocks. I like opening up my app and looking at it and not having to deal with a tenant telling me a washing machine's broken and the money grows. I prefer. No, I love opening my BMO Nesbit app and like checking it out. It's much more enjoyable than just dealing with tenants all the time, right?
I mean, they'll tell you, I mean, the only problem with,
It depends if like the investment depends. I know you didn't like a lot of real estate because it is a headache when things are breaking and tenants aren't paying, but stocks, it's stressful, but you're not dealing with humans, right?
Precious metal.
Exactly.
so you can be in real estate without buying real estate.
Mhm.
You can buy a REIT, you can buy mortgage-backed securities, mortgage-backed mortgages. You know, you can have mortgages without having a mortgage. You invest in a mortgage company that invests in mortgages. So there's other ways you can get involved in real estate.
I think maybe that's where I was going with business investments.
But real estate on the other side, it leverages. So your $10,000 down can turn into $100,000. So leverages is huge for real estate as well. So that's what I'm saying. So it's a benefit of both. So I think it's a
Have
mix.
pieces
Right?
everywhere.
Like look at the last 6 months, for instance. If somebody was in real estate, pre-construction in particular, then I don't think they're too happy with their real estate investments. But anybody that invested in the stocks is very happy with their investments.
Yeah.
But other years it'd be completely reversed. So overall, it averages it.
Do you have any advice for parents in helping their kid?
Take a favorite of them. Depends on their situation, right? The last thing a parent should do is borrow money to give to their kids.
True. Fair.
Right? That's the last thing they should do is, I want to start a restaurant. Okay, I'll borrow some money. Here's some money to start a restaurant. No, you don't do that. But at the same time, if you got lots of money, why would your 35-year-old kid still be living in a basement apartment when you're sitting there on, $3, $4, $5 million worth of cash there? Why would you let your son or your daughter live in a basement apartment someplace? Why don't you give them the money and buy a place? Like I read a book years ago called Die Broke, right? And the whole concept of inheritance goes back to the farmers. And a farmer during the time, they didn't have any money, and all they had was the farm. So the farm got passed on as an inheritance. So our mentality is our kids have to have an inheritance.
Yeah.
Whereas the book says, why would this kid suffer? Give them money,
Well, they need it.
give them a young family. One of your kids has a couple of kids there, kids going to school, Montessori, whatever they're doing there. Why not give them 50 grand, 100 grand, something there just to help them out there? Because to give them when they're 60 years old, they don't need it. All right. So I think you need to, that's
RSPs.
100%. Yeah.
Then we have kids doing the probate. Kids are 70 years old.
All right. The children are 7 years old and doing probate. So now they get,
The money down.
now they get their inheritance from
It's
their parents,
70.
right?
Seven.
And their parents probably got $10 million worth of assets, and they've been living in a rental apartment for all their life, right?
Yeah. It's true.
So a lot of people say, well, I don't want to spoil the kid. The kid's got to make their own. I don't believe in that at all.
Yep. In RSPs, you also taught us about it by contributing a little piece every year.
What's it, 18%, right?
Yeah. So you could do stuff like that. Anyways, so those were our 5 options of phasing out.
What you just said about having money, that goes with your client too, right? If your client's sitting on a pile of money and their kids are renting a basement apartment, then that's a conversation you want to have with your clients too.
Help them out. And then you're building family wealth. Anyways, so of the 5, basically the goal was just to reduce your workload strategically, on to teach you guys you don't have to handle every single detail of every single transaction. If you're ready to slow down a little bit but still make money, like lean on the agents in the brokerage to help you guys. You guys have lots of options to help each other. You can shift to high level client relationships, negotiations, and pricing. Instead of the I do everything, you become the my team handles everything or another agent, and you're just shifting.
Clients don't mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a doctor, does he handle everything? Lawyer, you hardly only see the lawyer one time.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
that's what you tell the client, say, look, I have a professional team, they take care of everything, I do the negotiate the offer.
Yep.
they look after everything else. And
Exactly.
they understand.
See, guys, it comes from, so it's not just us saying it, Shiv's also saying it too, and I
So
agree.
When I go on this appointment, they say, you came yourself.
Yeah, and then you transition.
No, I mean, I meant to say, they didn't expect me to be there.
Yeah.
They expected I would send somebody.
Yeah,
And I get calls sometimes, can you send somebody to, we want to sell our house?
Yeah. They know your system.
perfect. So I think the whole big point of today was hopefully you guys are starting to think about systems. Hopefully having some sort of system in your business that you guys can easily transition to somebody else, help you transition out. Hopefully you're organizing your CRM, your processes, and you're creating assets, not just income. I'm gonna skip all these ones. We'll just go to strategy. Questions? What were we gonna say?
What we're talking about here is retirement. We're talking about long-term stuff. I know that some agents are busy and they want another agent just to fill in. Can you do this? Can you fill that out? Can you just like a one-off type thing too? That we're not talking about that. We're not talking about one-offs. We're talking about like a long-term.
Let's just see. I saw. Yeah, sorry. Someone had a question about receiving commission without being licensed. You cannot. If you shelf your license during a temporary period, can you receive a referral fee or no? That might be a Carly question too. I don't think you can't shelf. You can park your license and that's how you can get referrals. And then you don't have access to the MLS system, but you will still get paid. But you still have to be part of RICO and you still have to have a membership. So if you do want to get paid, you can't just say goodbye, get rid of my license and then get paid. So you do have to keep your license.
Take the CE.
Yes.
Well, what would happen in that case? Just to answer the question online.
Yep.
We pay all the commission to the backup agent, and then the backup agent, then the lead agent would give some type of invoice for advice, for leadership, for consulting fee, and then they pay him as a consulting fee, not as a commission. Right? We can't. Yeah, we can't.
To the retired agent or to the new
100%
agent?
of the commission goes to the backup agent, and then
The
that
licensed
backup
backup.
agent pays the lead agent based on an invoice that they give them.
Okay.
But again, you can't pay to a bird dog, can't do other stuff, so it has to be, there's just some legal things.
What's the maximum can pay? I think $200.
Can't pay zero, there's no max, there's no
I
minimum.
thought it was $200.
Don't be advertising out there, it's off topic, don't be advertising out there, give me your friend's lead, I'll give you a referral fee, that's against the law.
No.
Yeah,
you can't.
I have had agents ask me to do postcards like that. That is not allowed.
How long you can park? Forever, 2 years maximum.
How
No,
long
there's
can you park
no-
it?
you can-
As long as
When you say parking, you mean getting rid of your RICO license?
Yeah.
You can't get rid of your RICO.
Like your RICO license is what maintains your license, and then your TREB board is board access. It gives you access to MLS. So it depends on what you mean. Like RICO is what maintains your license.
So how long can you board a license without renewing it?
Which is a Ginny question. How long can you?
If you, let's say you don't renew the license, let's say you renew.
Your RICO?
So 2 years.
2 years to reactivate your RICO license.
Everything, so you.
And then you have to pay the
You don't
fees
have
as
to
if
do
you
that.
were there, no? Do you have to pay the fees as if you were working for the last 2 years, or is that?
That's a TREB. thing.
Okay.
You just don't have to rewrite the exam for 24.
You still have to maintain your continuing education every 2 years.
So we'll just answer your question, when your RICO license gets terminated, you have 2 years to go back and reapply,
If you want.
but you're not licensed.
And remember too, your RICO license isn't the expensive one. It's your TREB. That's the costly one.
Parking means that your license is active with the broker that's not on Toronto Real Estate Board.
So what happens after 2 years if you don't renew it? That's it?
You have to take your courses from the beginning.
Back to Humber.
So you might as well get that passive income and maintain your licenses.
Yeah.
That's the food for thought.
There's lots. I gave you guys lots of ideas.
And I'll say we have a really blended group of agents, 450 agents from all different experience levels and generations and ranges. So it's if you need help matchmaking, come and
Yes,
talk to
come
Claire,
help.
Caitlin, or I, and we can help
You
match.
could even start, you go on vacation for 2, 3 weeks. You pick an agent that you think's gonna work out and you experiment with that
Try-
agent
try
and
them.
let them follow up when you're on vacation. You got a backup agent, you start going from there.
Yeah. But yeah, like reach out to us. You guys are even when you guys are at like Christmas events or like our awards events and stuff like that, that's a good opportunity to network with each other and try to find your partners and figure out how you guys can help each other, because we've got lots. And yeah, or you just email us and we'll connect you guys with someone too. I know I've got agents in this room right now that are our younger agents are specifically here to probably network with you guys and offer help. I know like the guys that are sitting in here right now, they've all shown interest in that type of strategy too. So
I'm trying to network with Shiv on the Christmas party.
oh
You guys need a room for that.
yeah, you might need a room for that one. Any other questions? Okay, so we're ready to retire.
We're planning.
Planning.
Hire.
Yeah. Planning for transition. Perfect. Does anyone on the line have any questions? Don't think so. Schedule 8 to stop CPP. What's that?
That's to if we want to stop.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay, well, if you guys have questions, reach out. I'll put this recording on YouTube, so if you guys want to rewatch it, it'll be up there. But otherwise, I'll see you online people later, and we'll stick around for in person.